So this is one of the cards this evening, and I made this quite by accident. So I'll tell you about that when we get to this card. And another card that we're creating is right here, okay? So this is both of the cards. And if you want to get a quick screenshot, I'll stop talking for a few minutes so that you can do that. Okay, Bess, the dies are currently unavailable. You'll need to check the inventory status report on the demo website, okay? All right, but the paper is still available, and that's what we're going to focus on this evening. And let's look at the designer paper. So with the designer paper, it has some beautiful coordinating colors, and there's Blushing Bride, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, Rich Razzleberry, and Starry Sky. So it has some gorgeous coordinating colors. And you can also find the paper in Celebration, okay? So in the Celebration book, page 6, and actually page 7, there are 5 card samples right here just on this 2-page spread, and they're awesome. So there's some really, really great cards. It shows you the designer paper right here. This designer paper is absolutely free with a minimum $50 purchase, okay? And it's only available this month, all right? So don't let this one go by, okay? So let's look at that paper and see just how beautiful it is. Here's one piece. I'm going to zoom out for this. Here's a piece here, and I'm going to show you how to cut this where you can get 6 panels out of one sheet of designer paper. I know, I love the flowers too. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I love this. So, so pretty. And then we've got this one. And the opposite side is Fresh Freesia. You should have been a florist, Margaret, because you do love your flowers. Here's another one. And the opposite side is right here. This is the Starry Sky, by the way. Here is another paper. Isn't that beautiful? I just love the paper. This is the best. Here's the opposite side. You'll see that Blushing Bride. I'm so glad you got some of this, Nancy. Love this stuff. You can't have too much of it, okay? You just can't. There's another piece. And I'm just having a hard time picking up the paper. Look at this. Isn't this lovely? Love this. That's the opposite side. And then this, ladies, is my favorite piece. I love this. And then this is what the opposite side looks like, okay? All right. Hey, Mary Kay, welcome. All right. So we're going to be focusing on this sheet of paper tonight and the oval. All right. So let me see if I can find the ovals right there. Okay. And we're going to start with our trimmer, which is right here. And we're just going to cut this piece, okay? And I'm going to cut this so that you can get 6 panels out of this sheet of cardstock, okay? Love this paper. It is just breathtaking. Okay, so I'm actually going to trim this at 4 inches, okay? And I'm sure you have seen this on Pinterest And you probably have seen other demonstrators demonstrate this as well. So that's my 4 inches, okay? Done. And now I'm going to trim it again at 4 inches. So currently I've got 3 different panels, okay? Because I've cut it apart. I know it's hard to cut this gorgeous stuff, isn't it? Now, the next thing we're going to trim is each one of these 3 panels, okay? And I'm actually going to trim at 5 1/4 inches so that it will fit on a card base. So 5 1/4 inches right there, okay? That's your first panel for one of your cards. You're going to turn this around and you're going to go to that 5 1/4 inch mark again. And you're going to trim. Now, we are not going to throw this away, all right? This is going to become very vital, and you'll see why. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim all my paper at that 5 1/4, okay? So each panel will be a little different. All right, 5 1/4, again. Keep this, all right? And look at the panels so far. They're all different, aren't they? Just so pretty. One left, and we're gonna trim at 5 1/4. Yes, definitely measure twice, cut once, for sure, because you don't want to mess this stuff up. 5 1/4 inches, okay? And save this. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is to cut our cardstock, okay? And I'm going to create a card base with the cardstock. This is an 8 1/2 by 11 inch sheet of cardstock. And I'm actually going to score at 4 1/4 inches. And that's probably really hard for you to see. So I'll zoom in a bit. There's 4 1/4. And that's where I'm gonna score, and I'm going to use my scoring blade. Okay? And then I'm going to rotate my cardstock, and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2 inches. So cutting at 5 1/2 inches with the cutting blade, okay? All right, so our card base is created right here. Our panels are done. And now we're going to do one other thing. All right. I'm trying to find my scrap paper. Hang on. I'm going to show you something that happened quite by accident, okay, when I was stamping. I am using the artistically inked stamp set, and you'll find this in the annual catalog. And it does have coordinating dies, okay, to go with the stamps. All right, so that is artistically inked, which I think I have demonstrated before. And we're going to be using some Old Olive ink, okay? And I'm going to move this card base so that I don't get ink all over it. All right, so I'm inking this up, and I'm actually just going to put ink all over this piece of paper. Oh, by the way, this is measuring 4, let me see if it's measuring 4 inches or 4 1/2. This is measuring 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, okay? So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, that's what you want for this. And you can overlap this if you want. All right. And I really don't need to stamp the entire thing, but I'll just go ahead and do it because I'm going to show you where this idea came from. It doesn't have to be perfect. And yes, you can overlap it. Okay. And now I'm done. All right. Okay. All right. We're going to be using the fabulous frames tonight. They're located in the annual catalog. So if you've got your annual catalog, somebody let us know where you can find it. It's going to be in the back of the annual book. And we're going to be using this piece right here, and we're going to cut this frame out, okay? But before we do that, we have a little more stamping to do, okay? I'm going to take one of these pieces of DSP, and I'm going to stamp on it, okay? I'm going to be using the Blackberry Bliss ink. That's another great color to work that works well with this. I'm going to ink one of the words from Dainty Delight stamp set, and it's "Thank you for your kindness." Thanks, Nancy. Page 171 for your fabulous florets, okay? And so I've taken that designer paper and I've stamped on it, all right? How many of us do that? We never think about doing that, right? I know that I don't think about it. All right, I think we're ready now. We can get our machine out and we're going to cut a few items. I'm also going to use stylish shapes. And it's going to be the largest banner that I use, okay? All right, so let me move things out of the way a bit. And I probably need to zoom out. All right. Thank you, Susan. All right. Hi, Leslie Claire. All righty. Okay, so I'm just going to put this just right in the center, okay? And I am going to cut it. And I'll just roll this through. I'm sorry about the camera shaking. All right. And when this comes out, not only do I have this frame, which is scrap paper, but this is the frame we're going to use on the card. And so this happened just by accident. I happened to have a sheet of this cardstock in the drawer that had already been stamped. You can even use this piece. So essentially, you have like 3 pieces that you can use out of this one die. All right, but we're gonna use this piece, which is the Fabulous Frames piece. And this is the Fabulous Frames, and I'm gonna put that back, okay? The next thing we're going to cut are the words, all right? And I'm actually gonna do this a little off center, and I will show you why in a second, okay? All right, again, the camera's gonna shake just a little bit. Hi, Donna, welcome. Okay, so now you'll notice that this part is cut out. I'm gonna make it a little shorter. And so the way that I do that is to take this banner and I am going to align it like this to shorten it, all right? Okay, so let's see here. It's easier to align, and you can even feel the stitching when you lay that banner on top. All right, how many of you have ever done that? I sometimes forget about that little die cutting technique. So I picked this up and I was able to shorten it, okay? And you can tell that the dots are still fine. That stitching is still fine. It worked out great. I'm just putting my dies away so I don't lose anything. Okay, we are now ready to put our card together. This is an old olive card base. And for those of you who are joining a little bit late, when the Facebook Live is over tonight, go back and watch the beginning because I've got lots of sneak peeks for the retreat, okay? You don't want to miss that. All right, so now I have 6 panels, okay? I have 6 panels that I can use on my card base. So all I have to do is decide, and that's really hard. I guess I'll do this one, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. I just love this paper. You know, you can make 6 really quick cards using this, so it just makes it so worth having some of this paper. All right. So that's my first panel. And here is the frame that we created with Fabulous Frames. I do like to pop this up. So let's see if I can find, here we go, find some smaller dimensionals. I'm going to use the minis for this. All right. And I'll even add some here. All right. And I'm just peeling this off, and I'll be centering this on the card base. This paper is amazing. It's so, so beautiful. And I think I've peeled them all. And so now I'm just going to center this. By the way, I'm going to be giving away this card tonight. So if you're watching, be sure to comment so that your name will be in the drawing, okay? So here we are so far. What do you think about that little design along the frame? All right. Leslie, I love my Stampin' Seal, and also it takes time to get used to. Also, I only use this runner once a week. So sometimes I'll notice when I'm using the Stampin' Seal at the beginning of a live, I might have to advance it with my thumb because it's been a whole week since I've used it, okay? But yeah, I've gotten used to it and I absolutely love it. All right, so here is the banner that we're going to use, and you guessed it, we're going to pop it up. It is a must. All right, and I'm just going to put a dimensional right behind this side. I'm so glad you like the frame. Isn't that fun? And then I'm going to add this, but I want to be able to see those yellow flowers, so I'm going to put it right down here. Now this side needs to be attached, so we're going to use a glue dot, and we'll put it on the frame and attach it. All right. Now something else you can do is you can add some extra flowers if you want. So let's add one and see how that looks. Hey, Barbara, welcome. Good to have you, my friend. All right, so I've added a mini on this little daisy. And let's see, gosh, where do I put it? I don't know where to put it. I really don't. I cannot decide. So I guess I could put it right there. An embellishment would also be awesome right in the center there. Okay? So it does remind me of springtime, Melissa, and I'm ready for spring, just like I think all of us are. All right, so that's your first one. And remember, we used that artistically inked stamp set. Okay, so we'll give this away a little bit later tonight. And next is a Blackberry Bliss card base. And we're actually going to do the same thing. I actually meant to do this first with y'all, and I forgot. So again, we have another panel. I don't know which one I want to use. I think I'll use this one. Let's see. Back to the Stampin' Seal here. I know the frame is awesome, and I haven't used this die set in a long time. And we're just centering. So these would be so easy for you to mass produce, okay? And what I mean by that is they're just so simple to make. All right. So this is the Blackberry Bliss frame. Now this frame I did not stamp with the artistically inked, okay? This is just a plain frame, and I meant to actually do this one first with y'all, and I got too excited and did the old olive with you first, okay? So we'll give this one away tonight as well. Yes, Angela, I love the Blackberry Bliss. It's such a deep, beautiful color, isn't it? All right, I'm just peeling off the paper here, off our little minis. I am almost there. And again, it just gets framed. That's all I'm doing. And the frame was not stamped. I'm going to take a Highland Heather circle, and the circle that I used is right here, okay? So it's third from the smallest circle, all right? And I'm going to use the word sending love during this season of growth. And I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. Try and stamp that right in the middle. And of course, I'm going to pop it up. They came off together, so we'll just let them be together. And we can put this anywhere, and I think I will put it right along here. And I could certainly add flowers there too if I wanted. All right, so this is the Highland Heather cardstock with the Blackberry Bliss. All right, so these cards are all done. I still have 4 panels left. 4 panels. So I could make 4 more cards. All right. Oh, I know tomorrow is Groundhog's Day. Let's get that spring weather going. Think positive. Okay, now our next card is this one right here. You'll notice with this oval that I actually used a stitched rectangle die with that, and I'll show you those dies in just a second. Also, this is Orchid Opulence cardstock. No, it's Orchid Oasis, right? Orchid Oasis. That's the name of it. I don't know where opulence came from, but maybe it should be opulence, right? Okay, so if you look at the Orchid Oasis cardstock, I have stamped a background using the Dainty Delight stamp set. So that's what we'll start with. Here's the Dainty Delight set, and I believe I used this image right here You can use any of these Dainty Delights. They will all work as a background stamp. And here it is right here. I put it on a rectangle block. Hi, Margot. Welcome. Which one do you like, Melissa? The first two or the last one? So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to get out my Orchid Oasis cardstock. All right. And I'm going to create the border. Okay. This is kind of a tough color for you all to see because I'm kind of looking on my screen. And it looks a bit tough to see. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just creating a border all the way around. Okay? That's all I'm doing. And you can go this way if you want. And you could fill in that little space if you want. Oh, yay! I'm glad you got yours today. That's awesome. And I think we've got it. So what I've done, I've created a border all the way around, okay? All right. I'm gonna close up the ink for now. Actually, I'll go ahead and close it up. We'll use it again in a second. Now I'm going to bring in this sheet of designer paper, okay? All right, hang tight, and then I want the stitched rectangles, and I think I'm using this one. Let's look and see. No, that's too small. So I'm using the stitched rectangle that is second from the largest, I believe. Let's see if that'll work. It does work, okay? Now, if you don't have the stitched rectangles, that's okay. You can just trim it with your paper cutter, okay? So it's not something you have to have. All right, so this is basically what we're going to be doing. Again, I am pretty sure we're going to be able to cut it at 4 inches. All right, so let's cut these panels. And then we're going to use our cutting machine to cut out one of the rectangles, okay? I did, Lori. Yes, so great question. Did you use Orchid Oasis ink on the Orchid Oasis card? I sure did. What a great question that is. Yes. All right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm going to cut this a little differently. Let me zoom out. I want to cut it differently to see if I can save this piece, okay? And actually I have not tried this, so that ought to be, yeah, that'll work. That should be about 5 1/4 inches. All right, so pay attention to this cutting. I need this to be 5 1/4 inches, okay? And let me just double check. I think that'll work. Let me check to see if I want to, yeah, that should work. All right, hopefully I won't mess this up. So 5 1/4 inches. And I am going to trim, okay? I'm gonna set this aside. I'm going to turn this around and we're going to cut again at 5 1/4 inches. And this is one of those measure twice, cut once, okay? All right. So this is what's left over and I can use this for something else, okay? By the way, it could even be a bookmark, all right? So that gives you an idea right there. It could be a bookmark. Okay, the next thing I want to do is cut this at 4 inches, all right? So 4 inches. This is how I am getting my panels, okay? Hi, Cheryl, welcome. So again, 4 inches. And I'm gonna have 6 panels again when I'm done, okay? So we'll set that aside. Again, I'll cut it 4 inches. 4 inches. And it leaves this one at 4 inches. So here I am. I now have 6 panels, okay, just like the other designer paper. All right, so we're going to take this one and we're going to take the stitched rectangle and we're going to cut it out. Again, you don't have to use the stitched rectangle. If you have it, great. And if you don't, just trim it, okay? So what I'm doing here is I really want this oval to be within this die, all right? So I'm gonna cut it at about right there, all right? And then I'm gonna roll this through. There we go. All right, we'll see how that did. I also like to be sure that this is cut really well. And so let me look. It looks like I've got it. I like to be sure that it's cut all the way through because if it's not cut all the way through, I can run it back through the die cutting machine. Okay, so as you can see, very little paper waste. And right here, nope, it came off. So all of that was cut. And now we're just gonna pop that out, okay? So let me put this stitched rectangle back. It is second from the largest. And I'm gonna close up my machine and make space on my table. And right here is where I am going to position this. So let me zoom back in for you. And I'm actually gonna pop it up. I've been doing that a lot lately and I like it. So yeah, it is a great way to maximize your paper. And the scraps are so beautiful, they make lovely bookmarks. All right, and I'll just put one in the middle. All right. And by the way, you get 2 of these sheets, so that would give you 12 cards, okay? And just like, remember this card that we made tonight? You get 2 full sheets of 12 by 12. That would give you 12 cards out of that designer paper. All right. So here we are. We're going to position this here, and you're going to see that beautiful border in the background. Okay? Now, one other die we're going to use tonight is going to be this die from Fabulous Frames. Okay? And I've already cut this one out, but I'm going to show you what cuts out of it. It cuts this out, and then this piece comes out as well. So these are the 2 pieces that you get. This is the negative piece that comes out of it. So that's what you get with the Fabulous Frames oval. And we're just going to use this part. And let's see, let's use those minis again. Hang tight. And you have to make sure you get these positioned just right so that they don't show when you attach it to the card. Okay? And I am going to put this about right there. All right. There we go. So it's right in the center. And I'm going to use the words, "The best is yet to come." I'm going to also use the Orchid Oasis. I'm going to ink this, and I am really taking a chance because I'm going to stamp right in the center. And there we have it. The best is yet to come. All right. And yes, we can give this card away tonight. So let's look at our cards. Let me know if you have any questions. Next week, we'll create more cards using the Dainty Delight bundle. That'll be the stamp set, the dies, and I'm sure I'll add some paper as well. So we're going to give away this card. If you're brand new tonight, be sure you're commenting to be in the drawing, okay? So here they are. Let me slide this down.